Okay, do we have questions for Pedro?
Hi, so thanks for the great talk. And I'm not familiar with this field. So you talked about the shapes of these trans-Neptunian objects and them being all exotic kinds like a potato or something like that. So, so I have two questions. One is how far away can we reliably determine these shapes from the light curves? And second, why is determining these shapes important?
So the way you can actually measure these things is through star occultations. The idea is that you have dozens of telescopes that have very high frequency observations, and you see the object pass in front of a star. That is basically the best way you can do on a population scale, besides, send a spacecraft, which is not a cheap thing to do. But for the light curves, we can see, for example, dips that are very clear signs of contact binaries. So that's how we identify these objects. And why is this important? Well, first we need to know how this thing's formed. So there are a lot of different planetesimal formation processes that will produce things like contact binaries at different angles and etc. So this is one of the key ways we try to figure this out.
Could you use shift and stack for tracking near Earth objects?
Yeah, that is a great question. I think there's a poster about that there. So the answer is obviously yes. The problem with near Earth objects is that they move a lot faster. So you need much more high cadence than we have with something like Deep. But yes, in principle, it's possible as long as you have the right type of data.
Along the same lines, could you use shift and stack for getting better stellar proper motions?
We were actually trying to do that with DEAS and we never finished that project.
Okay.
But yes, or for things like brown dwarfs and things like that.
Any more questions? I'll ask one quickly. For some of the objects that you found that are far away from the ecliptic, so at high inclinations, have you looked at any of the physical properties of those objects, the colors specifically, to see if they look different from things that are closer to the ecliptic plane?
That's a great question. So we looked into the colors of all of these objects, and there's a very clear trend that everything at high inclination tends to be bluer than the cold classicals. So this is basically telling you that these things form closer and were migrated outwards. And that's why they have these bluer colors.
All right. Well, let's thank Pedro